Hello and welcome to the next episode of this series, which is all about Lego Room and of course my life. Now in today's upload we are going to be making a new home for the Lord of the Rings display. Now this is all come about because of the announcement of One Piece and me having to move this massive eyeball out the way to create even more space for water and everything else like that for when all of these new piratey sets come out. Now I have made some sort of space in a different location for this to fit along with the Rivendell and the Shire. I just hope, fingers crossed, it's going to be enough. So, with that being said, let's get to it. So all the way back over against that red wall is where this big thing used to live. And now, like I said, it is going to go into a different space. Now, once we've actually got this down, I'll then know how many other coloured base plates to order. And I'll be able to water all of that side and base plate this basically at the same time, and it will all start coming together. Now, if there is enough room, it also means we can fit the D&D set in here, which would look, I think, would look great. And then there might be a few other changes and tweaks coming about. Now, no, I haven't forgotten about the Mario. I've had to put it on pause because of me needing this table basically to rest this. Once this is in and done, it then means I can carry on finishing the Bowser, and then all of the Mario Kart section will come together. Now, there is actually quite a lot of exciting bits and pieces to come over the next sort of few uploads with regards to getting everything neat and tidy, because that is obviously the point. I want everything to have enough space, and I do want everything to connect and breathe. But I think that section over there looks a lot more clean. Obviously, everything that is white will obviously go blue, but we are all about Lord of the Rings. Now, it's not just Lord of the Rings. There is actually the Disney Castle. Now, the Disney Castle is all the way under here. Now, what I need to do is, you can remember this nightmare that we had with regards to these bits and pieces, but I've had a lot more donated by Jay's Toy Collection UK, which means we should be able to have a little bit of fun with it. So what I am going to do is I think I'm going to move the Disney Castle over against the brickwork, because I think that would be the best place for it, and it's facing inwards. If then there's any space around the front of it with regards to other Disney sets, fine. If not, well, the treehouse and the cottage might be on the chopping block, and we'll basically figure it out as we go. That will then leave 3, 6, 9, 12 base plates for Lord of the Rings, fingers crossed, which hopefully will give us enough space for what we need to zigzag a path. I just basically want it almost like a big S. That's kind of what I want. It's going to come out the one behind the other. It's just going to look really, really nice as a big display, as we've not been able to do it. Now, of course, this is a theme park, so the only thing I can think of is the Disney Castle is technically, and it is the opening and closing ceremony at Disney, where they have all the fireworks and everything like that going off. So that, I think I could kind of get away with it like that, and then you walk into basically the Lord of the Rings as like a kind of a walkthrough. We'll use the Rivendell as the calf. Potentially the Rivendell Rapids will come back, and we might have to put a little bit of water around it and kind of make it as a little bit of a ride, but we will see as that goes. Now, I've got a very, very funny feeling I'm going to need to get some lights in here because it's going to be a little bit too dark. Now, I don't know whether to use the lights I have been using or just get the bigger light and you guys and girls can see a little bit easier. I'm tempted just to get one big bright light and it should all be good. So I'm going to grab that now because you can see I'm really prepared for this video. And then we can just crack on, get the Disney bits moved first. I just want to move the castle over. Then I want to get the big eyeball in because I really, really hope it's going to fit underneath this because of how tall it is. And then the two bits in the middle should go in. Then Dungeons and Dragons should go in. We can work out the colour of the base plates that are needed, obviously with regards to loads of green and probably some black as well. And then it should start to look like one nice purpose-built theme park display. I really didn't have to go far because the lights were actually already in here. So that's a result. So we will just try and make this a little bit brighter with these two small ones. And then if it's not bright enough, well, we can figure it out and basically go from there. So these things pack a punch and it just makes it a little bit brighter on the camera. Now, I will end up having to overlap bits and pieces and do other little bits and bobs like that, which is fine. But if I place you here, if you remember, the cantina was down here, and that is the thing that I have moved because I did not want to waste everybody's time messing about with all of that again. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to push both of these back to back. Then I'm just going to have to move that bit over ever so slightly, which I think I have given myself enough space for, which is unlike me. So I have actually thought about this ever so slightly. So that will come into there, that slots into there, and then I think all we'll have is a little bit of an overhang at the front with the base plates. Now, of course, I don't have any of the base plates yet. I have made that very, very clear with regards to the bits and pieces that I do need to get. But for now, we should be okay. So I want to get the Disney stuff in, and then I will grab a drink and turn the camera off and just make sure that it is all right. Now, with these huge gaps that we've got here, all of that's you on the floor, and that's me knocking the roof off that. That's smooth stuff. I'm going to push all of these gaps in now because we've got these extra ones again, thanks to Jay. I can just overlap the last ones, and I might be able to cut some of these and do some bits and pieces with them. But what I do want to do is, because this will actually be the first time that I can make a proper display underneath here. Now, I think I might end up painting this back wall blue. I can see that happening because it's blue across the top, and I think this back wall will go blue. The brickwork probably go blue. Wrap it round, maybe blue or a different colour. Could be something else completely different, but I have the blue here. And then this will just get a new coat, a fresh coat of the Tatooine Sunset, because the Tatooine Sunset paint is literally just there. So I can give that a fresh lick of paint, probably take the shelf off, and then that is where the Tatooine's going to go, with more than likely the Death Star, if that is ever going to come out, and if that is a true thing. So let's attempt to move this over, because the one thing I would like minimum to put in front of this is the new Toy Story car, and the other one that I do have, but it's smashed, so that might not happen, but I would like to do it. Now, be very, very careful when you're doing what I'm doing now, because I say this every single time, made the base of this slightly stronger. That's not exactly a good thing to do, is it? Idiot. I have made this slightly stronger because the base on this thing is shocking. Now, if this wasn't meant for all ages, I would have spoken properly. I do want to make an 18 content, to be honest, and just go to town on some of the bits and pieces. But shocking will be the word for now. Right. So I would like to think this would look nice against the brickwork, spun round just like that, and then, oh my days. Problem there. This is my problem now. So I've got this big bit either side. Now I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm actually going to have to take the top off to then get it flush to where it's going to have to go. So all these things I need to think about and do. So it will fit, does fit in the corner, absolutely fine. That noise was my head hitting the table that time. That was smooth. So it does fit there. It does fit against nicely, and the fireworks do work, and it does go against. That is pushed all the way to the back. To be honest, I think that's fine, because I can just utilize this corner space maybe for something else. We will figure out what we can do with this bit and what we can do with that bit underneath. So it's going to be like an L-shaped Lord of the Rings display, I think, coming. I think that's possibly what we're going to end up having. So I don't really think the tree and the Snow White is going to fit properly. think we're going to have a few issues with everything, because that is not, well, it just isn't, it's just not going to work in there. So there is space where that can go and it won't get any damaged anymore, and it can just go potentially on the chocolate block, and if it can't be fixed, well, we go from there. Now this does need a good bit of TLC, as you can see, because it's been absolutely ravaged with all sorts of bits and pieces. So we want to pull the cottage out. I need to move these bits over. I don't know what is going to happen with the last table, which is going to be interesting. So I want the Lord of the... Smooth. What I was about to say is I want the Lord of the Rings eyeball over there, and I don't know what's just slipped down, fallen off, come out of another box. Oh, I know what it is. It's the Christmas tree base. Fantastic. So that is now in multiple, actually even more pieces now. I've just broken that into another 3. A lot of pieces. So we are getting round underneath each table. Just don't forget, all of this got pulled out when we had to move all the tables about, and it just takes forever to get all the pieces back. So we are getting there slowly. So we have got you, that thing, that's coming out. I would like the Snow White cottage still there, but I don't really, I could. We'll see if we can actually milk it and make it work, and if we can actually get it in. And if we can't get it in, then obviously, well, we won't bother. Can I make them brighter? Yes, I can. Let's crank those up a little bit. Right, so that's coming out. As you can see, I've said this all the times. I say I just need to give this a clean with all the brick dust that was in it, and it just gets left there for multiple weeks. We've got so many individual projects going on, but this is why I wanted that table up there, and this is why we had to put Mario on hold, because now these can go on the table and I can swap it with the Lord of the Rings eyeball. Oh, that's my head against that again. I'm going to knock my head on this so many times. So right, there's those pieces coming up. That is not part of this, that is part of this. I do not think that is going to fit. So I might just have to step that. Might just have to step that forward in front of the leg, which I think I can do. Because these sets have stuff in it that I need to sell. That's brand new, so that can be sold. But yeah, that's base plates and stuff. So yeah, I need another thing there, but obviously it's going to hit the leg, so I'm going to have to come in front of the leg, which is okay. It's just quite hard working underneath the tables. Alright, so how much more do I need to move? No, we're not far off. We're not far off. Right, that's in. These are stepped and staggered because of the wall. That one is in. Was in, it is in. putting up a fight though. So, because I'm being stupid, and I am stupid, and this is just going to take too long if I don't move it, I'm just going to flat pack some of those boxes, because those boxes I think are done. So I just need to spend 10 minutes sorting those out. I can charge the lights up a little bit more. Get the next one of those in, because that'll fit. Keep it slightly stepped. Lord of the Rings eyeball is basically going to go right to the edge of that table, so we're going to have as much space as possible. I hope it does. And then, yeah, we'll just start to get the other sets in. So that bit has been tidied, and I have brought the chunk with me, and it fits. Check this out. It's been a long time since I've turned this thing on. So does it still work? Yes, it does. That's going to make my life a lot easier, which means I can just keep it there, and then I think you should be able to see everything. So, giving it a vacuum up to that point. All of this is actually just the Christmas bits and pieces, which will have a new home by the end of this year. So I'm not too fussed about getting that moved for anything until probably Pokemon, to be honest. I'll tidy it up, stack the boxes on top of each other, make it a little bit neater, obviously. And then when the Winter Village comes out for Christmas of 2025, those tubs will actually end up going somewhere else once it's all been displayed. So once I've done more bits and pieces up at the top, and I've done the One Piece and done the Super Mario stuff, I can look at making some space for that elsewhere, and then basically carry on. So I want everything to look this clean. This is the plan. It's all it to be nice, vacuum clean, basically nothing on the floor, and it looking neat and tidy. So, like I said, all vacuumed, which is always nice, and I've even vacuumed where I'm kneeling as well. So I will move this, get you beside the light, place you on the light, and we'll go from there. I have got another one of these, and I've got the other two smaller lights if need be, but I don't think I need those. I don't think I need the two smaller lights in. So what I do need in are these. Now I am sure I put all those in the right bit. So that, will it fit? Yes, good. Right, so they do fit. So that's going to be our base, and then the base plates are obviously going to go on top. So that's the last one. That's the last one in. It does fit between the table leg and there, and it is to the edge. So where the base plates are going to overhang ever so slightly, I'm not going to kick them. So we should get, apart from this bit, the same amount of base plates, which is great, because we have obviously got the gap at the back. So I think it should be there or thereabouts, the same. So what I want to do now is see if I can actually get this monstrosity picked up and placed. So we are going to have to find a place for you. Now I think what I'm going to have to do is just leave you here while I take the eyeball off the table, because I'm going to end up falling into that gap if it goes flying. So we're aiming for the corner. It has got unbelievably hot in here. It's like a greenhouse in here now. So I am a little bit toasty, to say the least. Now, height-wise, we're going to have the same problem as we did with the Disney Castle, because this thing is a beast. Now, I want to try and get it in one, but I might have to take the prongs off the top. I don't want to start taking this apart, because I don't know how easy it would be to slide back in when it's under the table. I think it should be okay. So the problem I'm going to have is I'm going to have to go in eyeball first, which, as you can see, oh no, I was about to say, as you can see, I've just done, and what I've just done is I just broke the back of it. Bugger. Right. Too much angle. Too much angle. Well, that's going to put a halt on proceedings, isn't it? Oh, bugger. So, that's not gone well. What I should have done is just taken it apart and slid it back together like this. The base didn't give up. It was just the next, basically the next level. The next level moved, and that's where it all went wrong. Now, it's only a few pieces, but I'm not going to be able to figure that out without the instruction booklet. What a royal pain in the backside that is, because that is the actual eyeball itself, that's still all connected. But no, I cannot figure this out because it's one of those things of, well, kind of build it and forget about it. Now I'm now going to have to get the instruction booklet. See, I am properly sweating as well, which is not what you want, because this is the piece here. That's what I should have done. I should have just pulled that out and slotted the next bit in, because I think everything I touch now I'm just going to break. Right. I don't know if that actually just goes... I think it might actually just go on the inside of it. As you can see, I am sweaty. That's really annoyed me, because that is what I did not want to happen. And as I was about to say that is exactly what happened. It's even hotter in here because all the lights are on as well, which doesn't help things whatsoever. So I will have to repair this somehow. Which means I want to grab the laptop and just figure out where these bits go. It's a beautiful looking thing though, let's be honest about everything. Now I want to say it's something. Is it one way? I can't remember which way it is. Is it that way? It just doesn't. That doesn't seem right. Okay, so I'm making that up. It kind of feels like it should go. Those bits should go in there, but that bit again looks like it should go there. Does that bit? Can't be too far off. The long shafty bit and those bits. Right, leave it with me. I'll get it repaired and we'll go from there. Right, I thought I would do this off camera, but I have just sent Jay's Toy Collection UK a message and he's basically laughed that hard he's wet himself. So I thought, well, he can now enjoy me putting it all back together. So you get no sympathy in this game when things go wrong. You just basically get told you're an absolute pillock and then hope for the best. So what I am going to try and do is just build it in larger segments. So that bit's got the blue on top, so that bit's got to be that bit, which I'm assuming goes on this bit just there. So that must go at the front, which means this bit must be here. But it looks like that's set too far forward, so it kind of must be set back one, so I must be missing something. So we've got, I've just knocked that bit, I've just knocked that bit off, so we've got two whites either side. Where? Ugh. This is not fun. I am an absolute moron. I mean, let's be honest, this is not... It's in, just because it's in big pieces, so it's just going to be a right raw pain in the backside to put back together. But I'm assuming, look, it's that hot, everything's sticking to me. I'm assuming that this is the right part of the booklet. It's got to be. That's the path, yeah, bag number 30. So where's that bit? It can't be on the main shaft itself. Can it? Oh, it can. Ah. Well, that's going to make things very, very, very interesting. So how am I going to do this then? Because that is at the front, so that must sit, okay, that must sit in between, like there. And then we've got gaps, so... Oh, I'm so lost, I don't understand how, where and why. Does this sit back on? Right, that feels like it's in. Actually feels quite alright. So does this go in here? Yeah. So I've just pushed it down, and that actually needs to go in first. So I was kind of right, but at the same time, I do not know where that's supposed to go. That is that bit there, so that's already in on there. So it's just, this is like idiotic, the most idiotic way you could possibly think of. So don't do what I'm doing. I now need to take the shaft off. There we go. All right, that bit is in. So that's all of the front. That's all now back together, looking tickety-boo. So where does, let's find this bit. Where did that bit fall off from? What bag? That's 31. The big bag, see? All the way. That's the side wall, so that's all done. This could take, as you can see in the background, could take a minute or so to find where we are going with this. That's all of that. Come on. Oh, hang on. I've just seen a piece. That bit is next. Goes there. I know what's going to happen next. These bits are going to go in, and let me guess, they hit the roof? Yeah, they hit the roof. But that whole bit's got to come off. Alright, hang on. Is this the next bit? Add the sticker. Spin it round, that's the flame. Flame that's on the inside. Is it that one? No. It goes that way. That one. So I was kinda right. Oh, will it just drop in? Oh, it does. It drops in. Ah, I don't have to take it out. That doesn't seem right to me though. Oh no. Yes. That goes there. I might have got lucky with this, guys and girls. Might have got lucky. That goes there. That clips in. Is this supposed to be removable for a play feature? That's possibly why it's fallen out, but that's in. So we're all in. We've still not found the shaft. Oh, bugger. That is definitely supposed to go parallel, so that goes there. So that's in. Only missing a handful of pieces now. It's now looking as a standard Lego set of mine now. The flame. Did this one have a flame on? Yes, that one have a flame on. Yes. Oh, it's this bit, isn't it? I completely forgot I did that. Completely forgot it had a play feature in there. It's not been built that long. I completely forgot because I'm an idiot. Absolute idiot. Right. I'm sure this is highly entertaining. I've just been a plum. Right, that's the second one. That's done. I've actually done a thing. They are the right way around. And I've just, what have I shut that down for? That's that bit. That's the flag. Flags are either side. Flags are facing the wrong way. Flags are now facing forward. There we go. Don't think I ever built it right in the first place. There's the flags facing forward. Right, moving on. So I want this. Give me this, give me this, give me this. It's got to be on the front, surely. Down, 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 down. God, this thing is so detailed. Bag 33. Give me this bit. Now I'm onto the eyeball. Probably easier if I just looked at the front rather than doing what I'm doing. We're still going up, still going up, still going up, still going up. I think they falling out from the weaponry, right? I see a flame. That. Is there. I'll take that. I found where the flame goes. Said this was 100% complete. I've done so many videos with this thing. I can't believe I was so stupid. Still scrolling. That step. Oh, this thing, honestly, is so detailed. All I want is this. And then I think I know where they go. They just go in the forgery. Bag 36. So we're getting some height for the shaft. Still going up, still going up. I don't want to show you this bit in case you end up going dizzy. There's the steps going in. Step 240. Step 246. 250. We're still facing backwards. Bag 37. Getting closer and closer to the actual eyeball as well. It's making 2 external bits. Oh, this is not what I have planned. 38. Step 281. Step 290. This is good content. 339. Step 308. 2 of those. 40. We're making that bit. Tell me this is off a different piece. If this is off something beforehand, I'll laugh and cry at the same time. What? It is, it's off something else. Oh, you're joking. It's off the bit below it. Oh! Pillock. It's off there, isn't it? What an absolute pleb. So that's got to go somewhere in there because there's the other one. So that now needs to come up and off. Why? Why? I must have been dropped as a child too many times. I think there must be an explanation for this. I am stupid to be doing this move in this heat, let alone just doing this move anyway. Oh god, he dropped it again. I forgot to unclip that piece back in, yeah? Oh, and he fell off the table. Right, get in. In. Right, I think it's in. Right, this bit. There, in there, there you go. In, done. Right, these bits are from the forgery with the fire. They go in there, don't they? And then we've got a spare bone. Where's this spare bone now? I think I might have just given it a spare bone. That, we'll say it's with it. Alright, are we all back together? All bar this. Pour some more. Something's not right. Something else has come off, I'm sure it has. I'll have to see if it's over on on that side. Missing. Did I actually forget to build that? That's embarrassing. So while you've got all of these with these bits. Oh, I put it wrong. Nobody told me that on the review, did they? These are all upside down. See, nobody spotted that. What a absolute... Shouldn't be allowed. Should not be allowed to have nice things. Right, that now all matches. Nobody told me. That review video has been up forever. So nobody's got the eagle eye. So I got away with that then. I found it before you guys and girls did. You know what? You can go there because it looks right. Right, down we go. So all the lights are going back on. Battery's about to die. I swap the battery over. Lights will go on. And finally, after 14 minutes of faffing around, we can now try and get the eyeball in. Alright, we are back at it. Fresh battery and everything. So we will smash you back on. We will plonk these two back on. We actually added 2 more lights to this corner. Just because, well, I couldn't be bothered to go and grab the other big light. So I brought the small ones back. And yes, right, let's see how badly this will go. Right, base first. So we'll plonk that in, and then we'll see what is what. Now, what I'm going to have to do is slot the back in after the bit of wood. So I'm assuming what I'm going to have to do is that is going to have to go past that bit of wood that I've already shown you. Then I'm going to grab the actual main shaft, which is this thing just here. Kind of feel that I've put a piece. Yeah. I feel this might. Maybe not. That bit goes somewhere at the front. Right, so this will have to step in, slide in, and then spin round. And basically, I'm just going to hope for the best that this is actually going to be a thing, because I think it's going to be extremely tight. Now, yes, in case you were eagle-eyed, I did fix the other slot that it goes in, because that was one of the pieces that was on the floor, and I managed to figure that out all by myself. Right, so that is those two. Oh my days. That is outrageous. Oh, I can't spin round and reach the back. Look how tight that is. It's not actually touching, but that is so close. So I'm going to have to get in here and try. I thought that should just, I thought that bit just slots in. There we go. Right, it's in. It just needed a bit of persuasion. Right, okay. Just looking at the top going there. Roof could be a bit of a potential hazard. I can't believe I can move this. Right, so that would literally now there. That is where that will go. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with the door, because I've got the base actually outside of the table. So I've actually got the eye up until that bit. So I will have to move this over ever so slightly to be able to get into where that handle is. But it kind of gives us a little bit extra, because I was assuming I was going to start in line with the leg. So we've gained a little bit. So this, I don't think I'm going to put anything on. I might have to, but we will see. So now I'm just going to zigzag. No, actually, no, I think, to be fair, what will go at there would be the D&D. I think that's where that might have to go. So it's definitely not the right place for that, but never mind. Right now, I think we can actually grab the other Lord of the Rings sets. Oh, that's what that thing is. Where is that bit then? Where is the clip? Right. I'll worry about that if I ever remember, which we never. Which is always going to be the case of never going to happen. Right, it is really, really very, very hot. I'm not going to lie. Really very, very hot. So that is what we are going to sell. Tape measure. Minifigures. So now I can actually move this table and I can walk backwards and forward. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get them all in roughly, work out what base plates are needed. Now I'm going to put the eyeball on black base plates because I think it looked really nice on, like, I know it looks really nice on black because we've had it on black already. And then I think we're just going to go all green for everything else. But yeah, the D&D could just fit on that one, which would work. And then it gives us all, because both these bases obviously are massive. They are really, really big things. And then from basically this table leg over, well, the white table leg over, I was thinking it was going to be Pokemon. That's what I was thinking. I just don't know where to put you, because I've got to walk. I might just have to keep spinning you, so you might end up going dizzy. So we have to get all of these out. Now the Shire, I might block the Disney Castle off with the Shire going widthways, and then I might have Rivendell in the middle at the angle. I think all you can see is my ass, but that is the Shire. That was my shin, and that is you. That's me falling over the table. And that is you coming down with me. So, I don't know. Oh, it's the first time I've ever had these two like this. That is so small compared to that. Look at it. Tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. So, I don't know if it goes... I don't know if it goes all the way to the back out the way. Because we know the Rivendell's huge. We don't know if it is there. Look how small it is. Or if we block it off completely, which isn't a bad thing. And then it's just the Disneyland is completely separate. The only thing is, if I have bigger stuff, I'd obviously want it behind it. So really, if I was to do maybe that. That's not too bad, because we can get a path wrapped around it, and it gives us an opportunity to put something bigger at the back, because we could add in other non-Lord of the Rings stuff, I think. So I put all of those minifigures there out the way so I don't have to keep moving them a gazillion times. Now we've got the opportunity. It is so small. Where's Rivendell gonna go? That's the thing. Because Rivendell's an awkward shape. I don't know if we could go Shire, Rivendell, eyeball, something else off. Or if we're going to go Rivendell across. Because if we go angled Rivendell, we could go angled that. Now obviously the Rivendell's in a gazillion pieces. And we have got waterfalls and things like that. What I'll do, if I bring you over so you can see all of the stuff that I've got to bring over, it's all of this. There's lots and lots of different bits and pieces. So I will just, I think, go from one to another. And I will leave you there. And I'll just start bringing it over. I'll just be a lot quicker with two hands. So, you know, if you hear a big thud and a fall, it's me falling down the loft hatch as I'm rushing. Which is never exactly ideal, because we have got all the other bits and pieces for Mr. Baggins. So this thing, for example, well, that would work there. That can get out the way. So we could have the Happy Birthday Bilbo at the front and literally split it off that way, which, to be honest, it doesn't look horrendous, because what is white around there would be tiled, and obviously it's all going to be on green. I think that tree would just now I think that tree is going to end up going with the Rivendell. So realistically, we've got two options for Rivendell. It goes against the castle at the back, or it comes at the front. But we've got quite a bit of space for other sets, which might now finally allow me to get the Lion's Night Castle, have a home for D&D as well. That's it. It's all the castle stuff underneath here. Because it's outrageous that I have not got the Lion's Night Castle, because obviously that is one of the biggest lands at the Legoland Park. We've got minifigures, cake, tent, and a firework that is coming next. So potentially that tent goes there. What we can do, if we are going to be trying to save space, is again there'll be paths all around it, but that little firework goes straight underneath. We've got all of the minifigures now that can actually finally go around here, because if and a big if, we're going to be making like a Rivendell Rapids type thing, all we've got to do is put a queue line in. It's all going to be water based, and the Disney Castle is just there as a backdrop, and it doesn't do anything, because I don't think that can actually go any further back. I realistically don't think we're going to be able to fit the other Disney sets in, so I'm going to have to try and do something with that. But it does take up quite a bit of space. But that doesn't look horrendous. Right. Obviously it'd be fine tuned when the base plates go down, but it's still quite nice to get quite a nice template in. That is more minifigures, horses, more minifigures, rings. giveaway. Giveaway. Yeah. Okay. Right, I am just trying to dig this Rivendell set out because it's buried. And don't forget, it is absolutely enormous. And of course, what it's going to do, it's going to come out backwards. At least you can see the stuff now. Yeah, it just depends on how we're gonna do it. There is a lot of space underneath here. That's fantastic. Yeah, I think we can get... Because the other option we've got is I bring the eyeball in and we go Disney, Lord of the Rings, and the last two is Lion Knight's Castle and the Dungeons and Dragons Castle. Because the D&D is very theme park heavy anyway. So depending on how long this Lord of the Rings thing is for the Rivendell, yeah, so I can just butt it up closer to the Disney Castle. Disney Castle's just there as a show in the distance for people. Because that then would go... Oh, we could put... Good grief. Try that again. That would go there. So that just fills in that... Oh my days, that fills in that gap of trees. Told you I'm a liability. That's that. Didn't even see where that came from, assuming that's somewhere like that. I would have the trees at the back because they match. So we'll get the other two pieces and just see which way it kicks. Bring the eyeball over ever so slightly. Huge gap here, so we could do something. We could do something with that. This could potentially be pushed back a little bit, and we can have equal gap forward and backwards. And then the Rivendell Rapids could be, well, it could be born. Because we just have the water over the green. Because you can get the water easy enough. Because we have got the A-frame cabin trees, and we have got the waterfall from the Monkey Kids, which is what I've grabbed now. So I've just got the waterfall in my hands, which I'm putting on the table. The other set of trees that I'm just putting on the table because they'll come in after the next two pieces. Like I said, it's all coming in backwards. So that then gives us the main chunky piece for Rivendell. So bearing in mind how long I've had this set for, this actually now might be the best place it's ever gone, potentially, and it will just stay there because there's no need to move it. I have done my very best to group the stuff in. And doing this, I actually now might have a home for the Batman shadow box as well. So this could open up a serious amount of doors, but this, like I said, this kicks. This bit is huge, so this is where issues might arise, and they are. They have, and I think they will. Rivendell go at the back, or does it go at the front? It's scarily big, isn't it? scarily big. So that is it straight. That gets pulled out and gets pushed in. That bit then gets pushed over. We do not have space for the next bit. If I was to angle them completely, I think potentially we might do. We're still going to have room for D&D. Depending on what we do with this, we might actually have some more. And that went that way. It just doesn't work that way. Alright, get the other piece in first. I don't particularly want to have the Disney castle, well, I don't particularly want to have the Disney castle facing forwards, but if the Disney castle faced forwards and there was like a gap in between the two, I don't know if that would fit widthways against the wall with the curve that we've got. And then in the far corner I can dump the waterfall in. And it's a bit of a mashup of a land, which is going to have to be anyway. Right, let's get the other bit and then just see. I'm just thinking about, because if that went against there and we brought the eyeball in, the Disney camera, yeah, okay. Okay, it's just a big thing. Big thing. It fitted in that calyx perfectly. It was just luck that it went in there. Right, so we have got this bit next. Look how big that thing is. So it does, obviously clearly does not fit. In the top I had to take off because it didn't fit in the calyx, that's in a bag. Right, this is going to be interesting. So all of this will have to come out. This was its own separate land. It went that way. Does it fit that way? If it doesn't fit this way, then there's no point in moving the castle. So that is a clear and decisive not a chance. The two pieces will, but not the three. I've got all this space and I can't figure out how and where it needs to go. Right, I'm going to have a think for a couple of minutes. Yes, I'm going to have a think. I'm going to move a couple of bits quite a few times. I think it's just going to get a little bit boring. The Disney Castle's not going to move. If it does move, I don't think I gain anything from it unless I put the eyeball there. If I put the eyeball in, I could... don't know whether I could swap the Disney Castle and the eyeball over. So the Disney Castle's facing forward, and in front of the Disney Castle it's the Dungeons and Dragons. And then the eyeball's just over on that bit. But space-wise, I don't know what I'll gain from it. So that might have to happen. So I'm going to have a little bit of a think and a measure. And then I'll catch back up with you in about 10 minutes. Right, I have a bit of a plan, but we will see what we can do. So I'm going to start off with the eyeball against that wall. And then what I'm hoping that will happen is if I put Rivendell at the angle, that way, and then keep that one there, we've basically got to land just in that sort of over those four, and then we can then come into the next segment, because I think it looks a little bit weird that it looks a little bit weird that that's well over there. So I think if we just had it Shire, Rivendell, eyeball, and see what we can do and achieve. So this is going to have to pull out and go. It's only because the Rivendell is to see. I mean, it is absolutely enormous. Absolutely enormous, this thing. So all I need to do is basically put the castle back where it was. Because I thought the eyeball would look better facing forward, but I think potentially it might look quite nice where the castle is. And because the castle... the problem is, the castle base is massive. Because... so I've got the eyeball to the back and wrapped in on that side. So I don't know if I'll gain or lose more space. Because my plan is... oh, I've just moved it. Oh, we'll just see. We'll see. We'll just go for it and see. So that can go on here. That'll get pulled out. I think I can move... he says, I think I can move these two. I think, while they're both on here. Because if I bring that one all the way forward, and I push this one all the way across. Oh, please, 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 please. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. We're going to have contact. Oh, we are close. How did that go past that? I don't know. Right. Oh, we're high at this end. The floor obviously slants. I'm squishing its ears. Look. So, there we go. Learned something new. The floor is definitely not level either. Brilliant. We'll see what happens with that. Will it open up, or is it just going to get too tight? And is it going to damage that rubber? Nope, it's getting tighter and tighter, and it is not going to fit. Damn it! Damn, 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 damn. And I've just knocked the flag off the castle, so I've just hit the top. Brilliant. Right, so that would have worked. That would have worked like an absolute dream. I just planned all of that out. And now... how is that... oh, that's that bit come off as well. How is that even possible? So, back to the drawing board on that one, because clearly we are not having a very good time with getting that on. Right. That goes back on the front there. That is that ear. That is just on there. Now, there's no point taking these ears off because it looks stupid without it. So they have to stay on. I just need to get the thing back on now. Oh, I have got sweat all behind my kneecaps. Beautiful. Alright, get that back in. All the way around in. Right, that is as much as I can give on that. Right, that's back. It would have looked really nice over there as well. Maybe I'll just try and flip it the other way. Maybe I'll do that. That's something I haven't thought of. Okay. We'll dump the Disney. Is it just the flag? The flag sitting there? Never remember. Flag fireworks in. Done. That goes all the way there. So I'm going to have to do it the opposite way. So, where I wanted the Rivendell like that. That was my plan. And as you can see, the bit that I took off fits around that gap because it was on the curve. So I'm going to have to come round the other way, like that, and then see if it will go. Because it fitted the other way. The answer to that is kind of, not fantastic, but kind of. It is on, it's on the table if it goes like that. It's not how I want it. Well, I'll show you. So I had an idea of doing that because that goes into that wasted space back there. That then created a nice sort of area. Now clearly I can't really move that from its perch. So I either try and recreate that going the other way, or I split it. If I split it, it'd be a lot easier. But I just don't know. It looks great together. But I have got the opportunity of splitting it, I guess. That went. The annoying thing is that I can't move the eyeball over anymore, and I know what's going to happen. I'm just going to lose too much space. Because that will. That will fit. That will fit like that. And we have got obviously all three sets close together. Not really how I wanted to do it, but I might at the moment not have a choice for now, but I can potentially do something about it later. Because if I bring that all the way over like that, you can see how much gap we've got there. So we've got space to add something. Because if I come to there, we have got to add in the trees, obviously. Obviously we've got all these little bits and pieces. So like that now doesn't work that side. It does work that side. So that would go there. just so much space wasted at the back. That's touching, that's overhanging ever so slightly. That comes over. I don't know now. I am quite confused, to be honest. I know the waterfall can go behind it, but I wanted... It's just not going to look right straight either, is it? It's not... Oh, we know it doesn't fit. We've tried it. I can't figure out what other configuration to do it as. Because it won't fit that way. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't fit that way. Well. If we brought that over to the back, that to there, that then was that one's making sure that I've got enough space for all of these. There's the birthday cake, that's the table. Alright, so that all fits there with the firework, the horse and all that kind of nonsense. So that's all the Shire stuff together, minus a couple of the figures which I can deal with. Now, if Rivendell just stayed like that and came this way, we could have it as an enclosed land. Right, I don't know. Then it looks right side on. I kind of wanted it angled across the middle, but I think that's just going to take up too much space. And this has been going on forever. I'm hot. Because we would have, that would be there. That's the waterfall. Which does that fit behind? Yeah, waterfall fits behind. It just kind of looks like I've thrown it in, which is really annoying. I'm lost now. This is actually one of the first times I've been completely stumped. It doesn't work layering all the trees because the waterfall and everything's facing the wrong way. But if we come out at the angle, it doesn't work either. The only thing we haven't tried is putting the Disney castle the other way, but I don't think we're going to achieve that much because we into so much width. Because one of the nicest ways of displaying this thing is having the waterfall behind it. But because how it kicks in, because that would go there. This massive piece then comes in there, so that's not, see, we know that doesn't fit because that's all the way to the back, but that doesn't fit at all, so we're just losing too much space. Oh, it's going to take forever. Right, I'm going to grab some lunch. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm going to get out of this heat because I'm melting. And then figure out what's going to go on, because this is silly. The only thing I could potentially do is raise the third piece up, because it's higher. So that bit was higher than the other two, so then it didn't matter about the kink in it. But I don't know. So I will think about it, and then we'll carry on. Right, we are back at it. So all I've done is just move the eyeball as far over as I can before the orange touches, and it gives us this amount of space. Now, I wanted to use this as a divide, so I have now got the potential to use this as the divide on this side. And then also, like we said, from there, it will go into the Pokemon section. So if I just do it the other way around, and then potentially bring this bit over, and then obviously we can bring the eyeball over, you might, he says, potentially be making progress. I doubt it highly. I think it's going to look, well, I'd like to think it'll look okay, because my theory is the curve, then this piece will be at the back, and then it will allow us to bring the waterfall in. So the waterfall then obviously go behind, and it'll be right at the back in the corner, which always looks best. And then I think we might be able to, either the eyeball might butt up, or it could just stay where it is, and then potentially, obviously, some of the smaller sets can go in front of the eyeball and in between the Disney castle. So let's see what we can do with all of this. Now the good thing is, because I've pushed all these close together, they slide nicely. That then goes there, which, to be honest, does not look wrong. I don't know whether to have this bit connected or not. This is the question now, because what this allows me to do is I can now fit the waterfall behind this bit. So if, and a big if, I push this all the way over, does that slot in there? Yes, it does. So it will. This will fit. Oh, of course it does. It fits better here because I've pulled it away from the wall, haven't I? Well, if I thought about that to start with, that would have made my life a lot easier. So that is the perfect place for it then, with regards to space taking up. Because depending on what we want to do now with the eyeball, it will allow us to go one way or the other, because I can leave it just by fluke, it happens to be that it's right at the end on the back there, so it's not overhanging there, and obviously we kink in and I can put the waterfall behind it. We've got a little bit of space in front. Now obviously we don't need that much space between the eyeball and that bit, so this bit now can come over. This bit then should just slot basically in front, like how it was going to. Should have, it goes there, I think. There. I think that's where it went. Oh, we've lost a light. One light has run out of battery. Oh, we lost both. They've both gone. Oh, we're just down to the big one then. These have been on for that long. Like, they're both cooked, so they all both need to be charged up, because they are both at 0%. Hopefully it should still be bright enough. So yeah, there's the Lord of the Rings set. Obviously I can now build this bit back up. That bit comes round. So Bilbo Baggins' birthday, Mr. Bilbo Baggins, that can be stepped and staggered. Now I have got a couple of options now, which is great, because if that just happens to fit just in here, which, no, look at that, it does, There you go. That is what I've been meaning. So that fits in there nicely, which is great. So that is completely cut off the next land. Now, depending on what goes underneath this table, because I think we're just in line with the legs. So we have got a gap on the other side. So we have basically got a bit of wiggle room, which is good. Now that is that bit there. So we have got the trees next. So we've got the A-frame cabin trees. So we have got an opportunity to either just put more trees around the front, which I think we could do, which we could do something like that, which I've just added that one in. I think this will come over and we can just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming to about there. That works nicely. That can step like so, and that would be our Rivendell Rapids. Because now we would literally just come around the front, around, and then snake. That's it. So it's either a path as a walkthrough or a Rivendell Rapids, and we've got all three stepped and staggered. And like I keep saying, we had all of this space, and I wanted to utilise this space as much as possible. We've got the photo opportunity of these two just here, so these can obviously just be at the front. Still going to put them on black and half that into the other colour. Now of course this means I can go back to how it was. That can be pushed back a bit. That can go in there. There you go. That's all at the front. That's your horse. Nice. Okay. We have got the opportunity to angle, I guess, the eyeball if needed, but I think, to be honest, it looks all right, completely straight. I think that works out to be okay. Now, the only thing is we haven't got back in, and it's not the end of the world, is this. So this potentially now could just go back as that could go as part of our Jurassic Park, because that's just not going to work there, because that's where the path bit's going to go. So that will now go into the Jurassic Park and put that at the back by the trees, and I can put some dinosaurs and stuff about that, because that is the log cabin bit. Right, so that was a very long-winded way round of getting a template set. So we're going to have green into black. So this now leaves us, oh, how many times are you going to fall over? This now leaves us with quite a few, because that's a 32 by 32 there, coming straight off. So what I'd try and do, so I created a straight line, which would just involve me moving the eyeball to the left ever so slightly. It would give us then a visual. We got 1, 2, 3. Just grabbing some base plates. Because we should, and we have. I know this has got a bit of an overhang, but we are 3 base plates deep at the top. So even though I've got this pushed back, when the base plates go on, we will have this overhang. Now, this overhang's too vicious. What I'll do is I'll just bring these back to here, so we'd have a little bit more leeway in between. So that's okay. But I think if we go from that line, and then I think if we were to push that over there, we have got 3 base plates of whatever we want, plus all of the white that is in front of the Disney castle, which is great because that would go there, that would come forward. Yeah, so that would work really nicely, because when that comes forward to there, that's the space that we're gonna, that's the space that that's the space we'll have all the way around it. So we'd have a nice bit of breathing space just in front, and yeah, we'd be able to get a nice wraparound of water and things. So the next thing is can I get the D&D set to fit in here? So if I can get the Dungeons and Dragons in here, that opens up quite a lot of possibilities for that side over there. And it'll be the first ever time I think we'd actually then have an opportunity to display these minifigures properly. Minifigures, CMFs, D&D, day 1. Day 2? Day 1, day 2. And they've just been thrown there. And that's it. They've just been left there. So you are going to be left here. I'm going to get the D&D set, and we're basically going to hope for the best. I'm just going to take a quick photo. That's okay. That's okay. The best, I think that's the best of a bad scenario is the best way of putting that. Right. Dungeon and Dragon, awkward shape, but can we utilise the space a little bit better? It is, I keep forgetting this, it's in sections, this, isn't it? I think it's in 3. Yeah, it is. Right, I've got two of the 3 sections. Forget it every single time. Right, down that goes. And off. You're on the spin. You can just hear the pieces ping off. Actually, it was a minifigure, so that's alright. I need to get the other bits. And the D&D's not that tall, so. Right, this is going to go wrong because I can't. Because everything is coming in backwards, I'm having to triple shift everything. Alright, I can go over that. Now, is this going to the back, or does this go to... or does this just go to the front? Concentrating. Right, that is all that's all back together-ish. Come on. There we go. Right, that's all back together as its trio. And again, if I pulled this forward, we had that one forward, that's where that would be. Oh, I couldn't have made that up if I tried. So I've just got that lined up with the front just there, and it just happens to be that the step to the next one, look, is perfect. So that is where that would potentially live. I think it would just be stupid if I even attempted to spin that round. So that gives us a very, very nice opportunity to have the D&D figures out and about as well, because don't forget, like I keep saying, that gap in the middle is going to be covered with a base plate anyway. I can't get over that. That is amazing. I cannot get over. I'm that excited. I'm choking on my own throat. No, it didn't get me. So I'm actually amazed that that actually fits as it does, which is great. And I know that if we're coming to here, now don't forget, we can potentially come a little bit further forward, but we're 3 base plates deep. So we know that we're okay. So we've got a lot of base plates, Now we will just figure out what the best thing is to do over on that bit. Now obviously, if they release something else that's big for Lord of the Rings, whatever it might be, out of everything, it'd be obvious the Disney Castle moves. Because if we're going to keep the D&D set here and we have another castle-y thing here, then the Disney Castle will move. But for now, the Disney Castle is going to be the bridge into the Star Wars section, which will be this bit obviously over here. And depending on worst case scenario, the Disney Castle can actually go that way, against that back wall, and it can just be like a backdrop to the Star Wars. But for now, it works there. We have got space for the minifigures, which obviously I can't put out still because we haven't got the base plates. I think it's all just going to be green with black for 2 at the back. I think that's basically what it's going to be, and then it will just have water over the green. Well, that started off very, very rough, so I do apologise that took so long, but I'm glad that we've managed to do what we have done. Now of course, if you want a little bit more breathing space to the Disney Castle, because if we're going to need a path around, we can. Oh, well, it's meant, basically. Look at that. We can just bring it to where it kicks out, so it's perfectly flush, kicks out, kicks out, kicks out, and perfectly flush. That is the first ever time in Disaster Series history that is a thing. And what it has done around the back, it's giving us an opportunity there just to create a little bit of a path. So that can also be path. Now obviously, well, I say obviously, these aren't actually going to move. The one that the Disney Castle's on, I don't think I'm going to open up. If I do, I'm not going to open up that much, because obviously we've got this problem here of where the Star Wars one's going to start. So ideally what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut the gap up on that one, and then it's going to get a little bit tricky with regards to this one here. So what I might do is just bring that all the way forward, and then kind of fill in the blanks and the gaps at the back however I need to. It's only going to be for this one, and then the rest should step out, but it's only going to come to here anyway, so it's just going to be a case of how I figure that out. Now I don't think I've got any of the sets that will go in that gap, so I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to say that potentially will be the Lion Knight's castle. I have got medieval stuff. I've got horses, I've got catapults, I've got the ram I've got the old stuff from the late 90s. So I could just go medieval on that side and move the Disney castle anyway and put it over there, because to be honest, it would actually fit there now I've thought about it. And then we can just expand where the Disney castle is with something else at a later date, which isn't a bad shout. But the Disney castle's not going to move until the Star Wars stuff is in, because we will go from this corner, we'll go Tatooine, Eyeball. I think we're going to have, we'll move the Disney castle as the Star Wars backdrop, just as a bit of a, well, it's been bought over. And then it makes it a little bit more medieval underneath here, rather than the Disney. So the Disney castle will move after all of that. So at least we've got everything else spaced. And some of these will get poured out and some of them will get sold. Just don't know whether to paint that wall or not. That's going to be the only thing. But I think after all of that, and it's been a long slog, that is it, and I am done. Lots and lots of minifigures to add. They're still over there on that bit. They can stay there. I'm not going to throw anything else in there at the moment. I'm going to get all the base plates ordered. We're going to put all the blue down at the same time as putting, well, it depends how long it takes. If not, it'll be a blue base plate down for all of the one piece, and then it will be the black and the green down for here. And then I need loads of tan for the Tatooine, and then it'll go into the Disney castle, and we are living the dream. Options we have at the moment, because we could get the Viking set, which I don't think I will go for. We have got the medieval village, I guess, that now would have room to go in against that wall, because I'm now thinking of the stuff that can go there with the Disney castle moving. So good, we made, I do apologise how long this took. This is a typical disaster series thing. It just takes forever. One thing I just need to think of, and hopefully you guys and girls can let me know, is do I put the water around everything and it's one big land, Lord of the Rings into maybe medieval? Kind of makes more sense rather than it just being the one thing. Could be big path or water, and it's just the Rivendell Rapids. But honestly, I could not make it up if I tried. The batteries just died. So I did say something along the lines of, if you could let me know in the comment sections of what you think on this display, and should I, or what should I add in to the remaining space over the next few months, because there is a fair few base plates of space down here, and I'm very, very much looking forward to getting all the other little bits and pieces in. So we've got big thing going on here. We've got the Mario, which is all going to be taking shape up there. We know that everything up top is all the pirates into the Ninjago, so that's great. Obviously, you can see where the Disney bits and pieces have been thrown to. Do not worry about that, because they are going in the Kallax out the way for now. Because we've made space over here, I mean, look at the space we've got here. It's silly. These Kallaxes are deceivingly huge. So I think what I'm going to try and do, well, I don't know now. I was about to say I was going to try and bring it forward. I have got an idea. That idea is if the Batman shadow box will fit where those two sets are at the back. Now, for me to do that, it is going to be unbelievably difficult. But if I can slide it to the back, what I'll then do is pull the Kallaxes as far forward as I can until the shadow box hits the roof. And then basically put the cars in front of the shadow box, the carousel will just come into the front corner, and it's done. So we'll have the carousel on sand with that, and then it's basically all the DC stuff together. The old fishing store will now go with the One Piece stuff. This is where it's all changed, it's because there's all the One Piece stuff that's coming out and a lot of piratey stuff that's coming out. So I'm just lucky that I didn't tile all of that, otherwise it would be really, really painful. But we are going to end up with 2 Kallaxes, or I say 4 Kallaxes of space, which is a serious amount of base plates. So I think it's 9. So it'll be 18 base plates of space, which I have already got an idea for, and it's going to make things very, very interesting at a later date. Right, to be honest, I don't think this video is ever going to end. I've had to cut myself off yet again. I was in the process of editing all of that together, but we are back and about to turn the light back on because I have just sent the ending of this video over to Jay's Toy Collection UK with me going, I'm just going to move the Disney castle and then obviously yada, yada, yada. And he went, no, you should not do that. You should do a good versus evil where you have the Lord of the Rings bad next to the Disney good, have a load of greenery, and it'll be different because I'm stupid and I like different things. He's not wrong. He is not wrong. Now, he doesn't know about the medieval bits and pieces, but that can easily happen because I can still get the castle and the medieval village, basically the width of the castle and then the village in front of it somewhere. So that's not going to be too much of a problem. That can still happen. But I'm not 100% sure what he actually means. Now, I don't think he understands how very excited I got about my Lord of the Rings. This thing, the D&D, perfect to the front. And I was really enjoying that. And apparently, well, he didn't care. He doesn't know about it, but he probably wouldn't care anyway. So we know that the eyeball and the castle do look very good next to each other because I have done a video of the two. So what this will allow me to do is it will actually allow me to bring back the cottage, and it will allow me to bring back potentially the Winnie the Pooh because it is technically foresty bit, and we could just extend the path or the ride as that sort of S shape extend. It's basically going to turn into like a weird racetrack, isn't it, of a walkway slash footpath. But it will allow me to add in the Beauty and the Beast Disney Castle, which is the castle from Japan, because that is on my bucket list, because I do want to visit the Disney in Japan at some point. And of course, this has come from the Disney Castle in Florida. I have said this many, many times before. So, we will carry on. We will carry on and we will continue. Now, the other lights haven't even had time to charge. I've not even bothered to try and charge these up. We will just keep rocking and rolling until this camera basically explodes. So, I will basically get a template together, send a picture to Jay. I'm actually seeing him later on anyway. And then we will finish this video more than likely tomorrow once all of this stuff has been moved. Now, it's a good thing I don't mind moving these sets. Now, the big question is, do we have enough length? I think we do. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight to spin that around. So we do, and that is back there, like so. So that is those two back to back. Like I said, the eyeball and the castle. The eyeball is, well, to be honest, it's lucky that the castle fits there because obviously the eyeball doesn't. But that is what those two look like, obviously side by side. Now, the dragon will move over, and hopefully the dragon will slot in that gap beside it. And then what that will leave us is space for the Beauty and the Beast castle, I guess, at the front. And the other two small bits and pieces like that. So, will this fit in that gap? This is what it's going to be all about. Because it's involving... I'm going to get educated later on this evening. It involves dragons and other bits and pieces. My Disney knowledge is awful. But if this will fit in, not the easiest because the wing is in the way, isn't it? So we'll get that wing all the way up. That's the wall. Are we to the back? Yes, we are to the back. Right, we are touching tips on that one, which is no good at all. So that needs to come over. That will then slot in. And we are there. Right. So that is the space that we are left with. I don't know. We're best off coming back that way. So to the edge of the table, and I want to fill that gap with something. Now, potentially this a small set would fit there, no problem, and then we could have the Beauty and the Beast castle just there, maybe. I don't know if the D&D set works where it was, and then we have the Beauty and the Beast castle there, but I now need to go back and grab those two sets, so I will do that quickly and see what it looks like, because we've got the cottage and we've got the Snow White, haven't we? So which one do I bring over first? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm also trying to think how big the other castle is, but I don't know off the top of my head. I think possibly, and it's a tight possibility, but we can see I'm fighting with this. I'm going to be fighting with a few of these bases because they love to ping off. Now there is a possibility. Just bring it down. I'm trying to fix it off camera, and you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm not too sure what bit he's decided to ping off. I'm assuming it's going to be more than one bit, because it can't be that hard to figure it back out. I think it's there, but that bit obviously must connect to something else. I don't know if the Winnie the Pooh will fit in the back corner. It does. It actually does. So that does go in there. Doesn't look, works. I was about to say it doesn't look great, but it actually does work. It fills up the space a little bit and it adds a little bit of greenery. I could see if I can move that around. Like I said, this is just going in rough, because until I get educated later on, I don't actually know. It could go in forward. I can't bring that over anymore, and I can't bring that over anymore. So that's the space we've got to play with. So that is one set. That is with that set. That just needs to be clipped back on. So we got, oh, this would actually then allow us to bring back down that, so that adds in that tree. The trees from there. Still not 100% sure how the Snow White cottage is just going to fit, but like I said, it'll be very interesting, my interpretation of. And then later on, which will be in a couple of minutes for you, but later on this weekend for me, is what goes where for this. Because again, with the Snow White, this is deceiving. This is quite deceiving. I don't, what are we balancing on? Nothing. So I don't know if that came off. Would that actually slot in that gap? Would it break the bridge of the two? Yes, it does. Well, I was not expecting that. but that does fit. And again, we can spread it out and add some paths and water and stuff about. Not convinced on the Winnie the Pooh there, to be honest, because I don't know if this went back to where it was. Not because I'm obsessed with it stepping, but I just want to see if that went back to where it was, which was there. Because that was there and that was there. The cottage still fits. But then would the Newcastle go against the wall? I don't think it was actually this far over, was it? I think I had it pushed to like there. She had quite a lot of breathing space. But we could. What I'm going to do, I'm going to end the video with it here, take some photos, and then more than likely over a pizza or a burger have a good discussion with Jay and figure out what can go where, because we have space for the other one. It's looking a little bit more busy with that in now. But I'll take some photos and kind of try and figure out what we can do. Just don't know what would look best. I don't know if it would look best with an L shape of castles. If the D&D works better on the corner and then we've just got the two castles in front of each other stepped, which is a possibility. Because I have got everything facing forward. So that's the other thing that I could obviously do. Like, if I start doing different bits where God, I love a Disney set where it's all together. It's literally every single Disney set is all the same. They're all together by half a stud. It's like that's held together by one stud. You go to move it and it all falls apart. Got to love it. You get Disney tax on everything and then you still have to repair it every time you move. So that could very well go that way. So we could have it backwards, or we could, because that's just from how I'm sat, don't forget, we could have it forwards. Because we have got quite a bit of space to play with, and I think it's quite nice that we've got them facing different ways, because like we could have that facing forwards as it all is all together. Obviously it's all food for thought. Obviously if that was facing sideways, this would have to spin around against the wall. There you go. Funny. How many times have I moved that and the dragon's not decided to go anywhere? Of course. It would do. Of course it would. So, if that did go there, it gives us that space. I don't know how big the thing is, but we've got that. What's that? Base plate and a half? Yeah, about a base plate and a half we have of space for something. Now again, depending on what way it faces, it might block that off. So, I'll take some photos and we will carry on playing this game tomorrow. So today is the morning after the night before. Me and the master have been talking and we have come up with a plan of attack. So what we've decided to do is just order a load of base plates. And what I'm going to do is obviously base plate the area so we know exactly what is what. But that potentially will have to move. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the Beauty and the Beast castle there. I'm going to get a load of these little trees and shrubbery and plants and all that kind of stuff and basically fill it all around and everything else. The new Bricklink designer program from series 6, the one with the big trees, that is going to go in here. It's been on the radar for a long time, and I've discussed it off camera. Can I make it work? Can I not? Can I? Yes, I can, because this now can become a trail. It'll be basically a mythical trail, mythical walking trail. We'll figure out some cool name for it. But that's going to go right at the very front. So I'll get the new bulldozer. I'll block that area off, so that will look great. And then what I can then start doing is, obviously once the base plates are down, is start putting in all the path and everything like that. Now, because that thing needs to move, I kind of need to work out exactly the spaces. So it would be easier if I just did it when the base plates are here, because I can just work it off by base plates. Because I know I need 2 base plates in length for the new one that's coming out. You've got a massive thumbprint on there. So I know that's the case with that. So what I need to try and do is, before the base plates arrive, because they're actually due today, because they only got ordered yesterday, but they are due today. Now this video is never going to end if I put the base plates in the same upload. So I'm not going to attempt to move anything now. When the base plates arrive, I will obviously have to pull these out to put them back in. But with the D&D moving, if I can work out how big the Beauty and the Beast castle is, I might be able to get the Snow White cottage in at a push. Worst case scenario, I have to put 2 more of these white things down and just push over ever so slightly, basically everything. And if I push everything over, there is potential that rather than moving the D&D castle over to the Lord of the Rings side, it can stay on that side, and it basically goes the Cinderella castle, D&D, and then the Beauty and the Beast. If I move it over, basically back by 1, I think that's all it's going to need to do. If I did that, it gives us the space in the middle then for the new Bricklink, and it gives us space in the middle for Winnie the Pooh and the Snow White. But until I've got the base plates down, because I always work in base plates and studs, it's just easier for me to do it that way. If that doesn't work, then obviously the D&D will go over to this side, and the same principle. I think that's going to have to move back 1 anyway, which it can do. I hope it can, because I think the leg will just be at the front of that curve. I think it'd just be the same. It would just be the same principle, because this is at the back. There, that's at the front on that one, and we'll just do the same thing and just go back by 1, which I think will be okay, because we have got plenty of them over there. And then that gives us another. What's that going to give us? 3. I think that gives us 3 base plates, doesn't it? Because these are big, so it'd be 3 base plates deep by half. Well, it'd be half by the time you added them all up. So it gives us a good amount of space. So when that goes down, you can just see actually how much space there is. But the fact I need 2 base plates, I'm sure that's what I need. You can see that it would fit in, but it's gonna be snug. So that trail would go right at the front, and it's just to that line, and it's just to there. So as it stands, it fits. But yeah, there's bits and pieces that I need to figure out. So we have a good plan, but there's no point in me moving all of this, wasting your time even more, when literally later on today I'll just be doing it again when the base plates come. So you know what the plan of attack is. Potentially it's going to be the next video that follows. We'll just do a double upload. I know this one's been long enough. Don't forget, the base plates for over there are coming as well, so I can just sort out all of that. We can get all the water and everything added, which will look good. And then I can just get all of these down. I can get some of the minifigures in, and then we can start making some nice display. It's just very much a case of where this D&D set's going to go, because I'm tempted to pick it up and move it now, because if I can fit it there, which I think we have tried, don't think it fits, because I don't think we've got enough depth because of how awkward it is. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it quickly, and then whatever happens, I'm just going to leave it after this, because I know what's going to happen. I'll get carried away, because I just want this to be in and done. But what it will allow me to do, like I said, is create some nice paths. I think we did try it, but I just don't know if it will fit now, knowing we need two. Nah, not a chance. Deceiving. It is deceiving, because if I did that, that would have to go all the way over again. And it goes right over there. That then slots in there. That can all stay like that. So that, to be honest, that doesn't look terrible. But the problem is going to be is when these go on, does that fit around the trail? Because can we make that work? I don't think the other thing's going to fit in there. I think we're going to have to spread it anyway. So it's either as this, over Road Disney. You can see how this is going to take a while, and I can't do it without the base plates. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I obviously will chop and change the ideas as we go, but this basically is going to be a one and done. It's not going to be touched, because the Bricklink designer program does not go live until October this year, which means the set won't be available until March of 2026. So it's just going to be a case of once the path's in, it's all done, and then we can just move on to the next section. So fingers crossed you get an understanding of what I am trying to do. But guys, that is it, and I am done. I know it's been a very, very long upload, but if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You want to take care and catch you next one.